All right, as I'm recording this, I'm in one of the final days of the year 2023, and I'm on my Christmas break, but we're giving up our time to help you try to finish this page 1135 and move on. Let's talk about pages 29 through 31. I want you to have read through these pages before we go through some of these problems and study the examples on pages 29, 30, and 31. But now let's talk about three specific problems and see how we use these two formulas and these forms of the equation in order to find the answer. And I think if I help you walk through these couple problems, it'll help you solve the rest of the problems on those pages, okay? So they give us an equation for one of the homework problems that says y equals the sine of negative 8x. So if I look up here at this form of this equation, I can see that we have the sine of bx plus c. Now in this case, plus c would just be plus 0. So c would be 0, so we're not going to worry about that. But we can figure out what b is by just seeing, well, what number is right in front of x? Okay? So that's all we're doing is just inspecting it. So these are really easy. Nothing to solve, nothing to plug into the calculator. And so we can see that b is just negative 8. Now we have to use that value to solve for the period. So that's where this equation here comes in, 2 pi divided by the absolute value of b. Well, b is negative 8, so it's 2 pi divided by, whoops, not negative 8, the absolute value of negative 8, which is 8, and then you just reduce that to lowest terms. So we can cancel and just get pi over 4, right? So basically that's all you're going to do. Just plug in it's always 2 pi, because that's one complete cycle under 360 degrees. And then divide that by the b value. Let's see what happens if we have a fraction that's less than 1. All right, so the b value, again, is whatever is in front of x, so that's easy, 1/4. The period is 2 pi divided by 1/4. And so you remember what we do with a fraction divided by a fraction is we multiply by the reciprocal of the 1 on the bottom. So I'll bring this up, and it becomes 2 pi over 1 times the reciprocal, 4 over 1. I'll let you finish that one. Okay? Now let's talk about, on the next page we had a problem like this where we're supposed to figure out, well, what is the b value, what is the c value? Well, I can look at this form of the equation, this is again this one, and we have the sine of bx plus c, but b is simply 1. And we're not even asked to find that here on page 31. Am I looking at the right one? Bottom of page 30. Okay, bottom of page 30. And so to find the c value, we can just inspect it again and see that this is the b, and so whatever comes after that is the c value. So in that case, it's just going to be the negative 5 pi over 6. So those are pretty easy. We're really just inspecting what information is given, maybe plugging into this equation to find the c value. And then when we turn the page and get to page 31, we're solving some equations like this one down here where we have to also solve for x, okay? And I put that equation up here, x equals negative c divided by b. Well, let's first figure out by looking at this, what is the b and what is the c? So just by inspection, we look at this form of the equation, And so we can see that b is the 2. So we'll just write 2. C is 2 pi over 3. So that's the easy part. And now to solve for x, we're going to take the negative c value. So let me write it up here. Negative 2 pi over 3. And we're going to divide that by the b value, which is 2. Now I made that negative because this c value here is positive, but in the equation we have to make it the opposite, okay? So that's why it's negative here. So dividing by 2 means I'm going to flip it around and multiply times 1 over 2. So it looks like the 2 would cancel out and I would have negative pi over 3, okay? So again, the math on that's not too hard. Once we know that we have to use this formula, maybe highlight that in your PACE. Make sure you have it on your reference card for doing the checkup self-test PACE test. That will help you, okay?